I guess it will a bit to me, but more so to everyone else. I think that's where the question mark is. Other people like to use that term paper champion or whatever else, and okay, fine, no worries. I've got no issues with it because I'm going to prove my worth on Saturday night anyway, so it'll all come back around, and by Sunday morning there'll be nothing left to say.
One of them, and he's not done interviews this week. What do you make of his mindset going forward in this fight, to build up to this fight?
I don't really take too much from it. Like, again, we know he's not the most kind of front-facing, camera-happy person. He's not stood here doing interviews or anything like that. So I think he said about five words up on the stage. Like, he's not really that type of person. So there's not much to read into it. I really haven't seen him kind of storm out of interviews and stuff before, but he doesn't really give much anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much, guys. I don't think you're missing out on much.
Him cut a cucumber, is that true?
Yeah, but I did it. Like,
oh, did you?
I was sat there thinking, what the fuck am I doing? This is pointless. But I did it. Like, it's just...
Fabio Wardley is claiming that Daniel Dubois has been avoiding interviews after the press conference brawl and is not facing the media attention that followed the incident. Wardley is making it clear that he is still available and willing to speak openly, while suggesting Dubois has stepped away from the spotlight.
There's other requirements that come with being at the level of this sport, and it is a bit random and it is a bit left, but ultimately you got to do your job.
Fabio Wardley explains that his past interactions with Daniel Dubois were actually quite relaxed, suggesting that the current tension has not always been there. He also states that he is not planning any dramatic theatrics himself, but leaves open the possibility that Dubois and his team might still have something unexpected prepared for the build-up to the fight.
And say that's what's going to happen on Saturday night?
I don't mind that. I don't mind a little 3-round storm. I'm happy to get involved in that. Look, my game plan is to get stuck in from the first off. From the second that first bell rings, I'm storming across that ring and I'm getting involved. So
Tony Bellew highlights that Fabio Wardley has more variety in his boxing compared to Daniel Dubois, allowing him to find different paths to victory and recover from difficult situations. He also points out that Wardley's confidence can be challenged early if an opponent applies fast pressure and establishes a strong jab from the opening rounds.
Not gonna lie, guys, you can take that confidence away from him within the first 3 minutes of the fight. And if you come out, start strong, put him a strong jab on him, you can get a reaction out of him, and you can diminish his hopes really quickly.
George Groves leans towards Fabio Wardley as the favorite, mainly based on his current momentum in the heavyweight division. He references Daniel Dubois' rise with the Anthony Joshua win followed by the loss to Alexander Usyk, and raises the question of how Dubois responds after that setback.
I think Fabio Wardley, I think I'll make him the favourite. Like, if that's as close as I can go to picking a winner, I'm going to make him the favourite.
Yeah.
Just because of momentum right now. Dubois, he climbed his mountain against Joshua. He then fell off the mountain against Usyk.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's survived.
Dominic Ingle points out that Daniel Dubois can suddenly produce strong performances and is considered technically sharper with heavy punching power. He adds that Fabio Wardley needs to apply early pressure and disrupt Dubois' rhythm. Wardley is also described as someone who is not intimidated by big names like Anthony Joshua, with a style built on aggression and constant pressure.
Fabio seems to be the favourite. What are you thinking? Because obviously on paper, Dubois' losses have only come to Usyk.
Yeah, you know what, I'm going to kind of put my neck on the block for this one. I'm going to go with Dubois. Not that I don't rate Fabio Wardley. But
why?
I've just got a feeling that...
Paul Smith refers to certain moments in Daniel Dubois' fights where he appeared to take extra recovery time after being hurt, suggesting it may influence his decision-making under pressure. He clarifies it is not about quitting, but about how he has responded in difficult in-ring situations.
But that as a result might alter the way he thinks as well. When things get out, you know what, I'm not saying he's a quitter. It's never been that. It's just what I've seen in fights when it gets really hard and he's got to walk back to his corner when he probably could have got up on that 8 and go again. But listen, he is what it.
Fraser Clark notes that Fabio Wardley has improved significantly after tough fights like Huni and Parker, especially in defensive skills and overall boxing development. He suggests Wardley has narrowed the gap in ability, while Daniel Dubois is described as having solid fundamentals but sometimes being affected by emotions in key moments.
I think Fabio will know himself. He only has to look at his face after most of the fights. You know, he's marked up a lot. I think his defence has had to get better or needed to get better. But I do think of the Huni fight and the Parker fight, I'm seeing the development of Fabio Wardley as a boxer. I think he's improving in most departments, to be honest. So I think he has bridged that gap, whereas Daniel, I've always thought, has got very solid bases.
Ade Oladipo describes this as a strong matchup between two confident heavyweights with power and resilience on both sides. He mentions Fabio Wardley's toughness and also acknowledges that Daniel Dubois has shown resilience in fights like Miller and Hrgovic. He adds that Dubois is coming into this bout directly after a loss, but still chose to take a high-level fight instead of a warm-up opponent.
It's a great matchup. It's a great matchup. Both have power. Fabio has this resilience. I think Dubois has a bit more resilience than people are giving him credit for. I saw that against Jarrell Miller. I saw it in spots against Hrgovic. Both are confident. The issue, I guess, for Dubois is that he is coming off a loss. I think we sometimes forget that. But I like the fact he said, you know what, fuck it, let's jump straight in with a big one. There is no, okay, you know what, let's have a 10-round warm-up fight against someone ranked number 30 to get my...
Dave Coldwell highlights a concern about Daniel Dubois that when he has been hurt in past fights, he has faced opponents who do not carry the same level of punching threat as Fabio Wardley. He suggests that Dubois' reaction in difficult moments appears to be more mental than physical, where he can lose composure after taking pressure and get caught again. He also adds that if Wardley starts fast and applies early pressure, the fight could end very quickly in his favor.
I just feel Dubois gone over against lesser punchers than what Wardley is. And it's more of a mental one. Once it starts going, I feel as though he feels it and then he falls apart and he gets caught with a shot and he just switches off mentally. I don't know what it is. And I think if Wardley gets off to a good start, then this fight could end up pretty much.
Fabio Wardley compares how opponents approach him versus Daniel Dubois, suggesting that stopping Wardley mentally or physically is extremely difficult. He also points out that when studying Dubois, there have been moments where pressure situations led to him struggling to maintain control in fights. Wardley adds that this type of history can give opponents confidence before even stepping into the ring, which becomes a psychological factor in high-level boxing matchups.
If you're an opponent lining up for Fabio Wardley, you look at him and go, to make him quit, one, I don't know if it's possible, and two, if it is, it's going to be one hell of a challenge. With Daniel, you'll go into a fight with Daniel thinking, if I do some things right here, I've seen it not once, not twice, but 3, maybe even 4 times of him kind of tap out of the situation. So if that's in there, You can get it. You can pull it out of someone. You just need to go about the right things to get it. So you're already giving your opponent a psychological advantage going into the fight, because whether you say, oh no, I'm over it now, or I'm past it, or I'm not going to do it, well, evidence suggests that actually the opposite. So
Johnny Fisher gives a blunt assessment of Daniel Dubois' boxing ability, stating that while he has durability and toughness, his technical skill set is limited compared to elite-level fighters. He questions Dubois' consistency and suggests that skill-wise he may struggle when facing higher-level opposition who can control range and timing effectively.
Daniel Dubois, he just can't really get right. You know, he has no real skill. Pretty durable chin. Art is kind of questionable. But
Ade Oladipo explains that Fabio Wardley has improved since becoming world champion, gaining extra confidence and maturity in his performances. He references Wardley's win over Joseph Parker, describing it as a tough fight that had difficult moments but ultimately showed Wardley's ability to find a way to win. The focus is on his consistency, on his working relationship with Daniel Dubois and his team, explaining that there was mutual respect and understanding during their time together. He also discusses how the separation happened suddenly, which he found difficult due to the timing of conversations he had shortly before being removed from the role. Despite this, he states that he has accepted the situation and moved on professionally.
Privately, Daniel's father in particular, he recognized what I've done for Daniel and the father. And I too recognize what they done for me as a coach. So it's a mutual thing. Like I said, it was a sudden ending, and that doesn't sit well with me in the way that it ended. I haven't got this entitlement that I must be Daniel Dubois' coach.
No, fair enough.
But the timing of it, when 48 hours prior to me being dismissed, sacked, the conversations I was having with Daniel's father didn't suggest, no, that's the only thing that doesn't sit well with me. But like I said, I've digested it, I've acknowledged it, accepted it, processed it, and I've accepted it, and life moves on.
Duke McKenzie breaks down the nature of heavyweight boxing by highlighting how quickly fights can change with a single punch. He mentions that Daniel Dubois relies more on straightforward movement rather than lateral movement, which can become a factor in high-pressure exchanges. He also notes Dubois' experience as a former world champion, suggesting that while experience is there, improvement depends on how well it is applied inside the ring. McKenzie further explains that both fighters match up while stylistically as punchers with solid boxing ability and stamina, making the fight likely to become explosive once it begins. He also expresses a preference towards Fabio Wardley based on how the styles align and the way he sees the fight unfolding.
And as you know, in heavyweight boxing, unlike any other weight division, you're one punch from victory, one punch from disaster. So it's not a question of the first one to land, because Dubois, there isn't enough lateral movement. You can only teach him so much. Dubois he's been to the top of that tree. He's tasted world title success. He knows what it is to be a world champion. You can't really improve when you've been a world champion. I mean, you never stop learning, but it's whether you can actually take that and put it into action. For me, there's not enough movement from Daniel Dubois, and once those bullets start getting fired, then mate, once those shots start coming in, boy, someone's getting knocked out. It's gonna be, you know what, their styles are gonna blend so well, because like I say, they're both punchers. They both box reasonably well. They both got reasonably good stamina. And, as soon as that bell goes, mate, don't blink. Don't blink. It's going to be, boy, you know what? Like I say, I'm quite excited about that one.
Carl Frock questions Daniel Dubois' mentality when facing adversity at the highest level and suggests that his desire and consistency under pressure remain key talking points in his career. He acknowledges Dubois' punching power and respects his physical threat in the division. Frock also comments on Fabio Wardley's opposition history, stating that he has not yet faced many elite-level punchers compared to what Dubois has experienced. He further points out that while Wardley has beaten solid names, the real test comes against genuine heavy hitters at world level. The overall focus is placed on experience, resistance, and how both fighters will respond when real power exchanges begin in the ring.
When it comes on top for him, Daniel Dubois, what's up there and does he want it? That's the only real question mark I've got over his career. Obviously, losing to Usyk's no disgrace, but he's a massive puncher, big, hard hitter. And Fabio Wardley has never really been in there. You've got Justice Hooney, you've got Joseph Parker, you've got Fraser Clark. None of them are really bangers, are they? None of them can really punch hard for heavyweight. I'm sure if they hit you on the chin, it'd hurt. But somebody like me who's got a grand...
Daniel Dubois explains his decision to immediately take on a high-level opponent rather than choosing a softer comeback fight after a loss. He describes the matchup as a proper domestic-level scrap and states that he prefers this type of challenge to rebuild momentum. Dubois also emphasizes that this is the kind of fight he believes suits his style and mindset, focusing on intensity and direct competition rather than gradual rebuilding. The message reflects his willingness to face top-level opposition without taking a step back in difficulty, showing his intention to stay active at the highest level of the heavyweight division. Fury describes this matchup as a strong fight for British boxing between two powerful heavyweights in their prime. He highlights that both Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley are dangerous punchers where a single clean shot can decide the outcome. Fury also emphasizes the physical size and athletic build of both fighters, calling them strong and well-prepared athletes. He points out that neither fighter is past their prime, which makes the contest more balanced and unpredictable. The focus is placed on power, timing, and who lands first in what is expected to be a closely contested heavyweight clash.
I think Wardley's a good fighter, and I think the Daniel Dubois fight is a very good fight. I think it's a great fight for British boxing. Two British heavyweights knocking lumps off each other. And these are two big punches, and you know, whoever lands first with the best shot will win.
What makes him dangerous, you think?
Oh, they're all dangerous, all heavyweights, yeah. Yeah, they're all very dangerous. These guys are 6'4", 6'5", 18 stone wrecking machines. Look how they're built. They're built like Greek gods, carved out of stone. They're training, they're young, they're ambitious, dangerous.
And then Daniel versus Fabio Wardley, who do you think will win?
They're both in their prime, both fresh, both young, and it's a real fight where it's not like one's past it and one isn't. They're both in their prime, so I think the fans are the real winners here. They get to see a 50-50 fight between two big heavyweights.
This entire build-up has turned into more than just a standard heavyweight fight narrative. It has become a full-scale rivalry built on tension, public exchanges, and constant back and forth between Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois. From press conference moments to media silence claims, every clip adds another layer to the psychological side of this matchup. Fabio Wardley has consistently positioned himself as the more vocal and composed figure, often responding quickly to criticism and keeping his presence active in interviews and discussions. Daniel Dubois, on the other hand, is often described through others' opinions, his power and physical threat still respected, but questions continue to be raised about his mentality in high-pressure environments. What makes this fight so intriguing is that both men carry real knockout power, and both believe they are the one who can impose themselves early and change everything in seconds. If Wardley wins, it strengthens his rise as a major heavyweight force and pushes him closer to elite-level recognition. If Dubois wins, it resets his entire narrative and brings him back into serious contention at the top of the division. Now the question is simple: who do you think takes it, and how does it end? Drop your prediction in the comments, subscribe for more boxing breakdowns, and stay tuned for the next one.